Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back to It's Mental podcast. It's been a while because I'm really busy with my solo, but today we are back.
Yay.
Today I'm interviewing Sarah. Sarah, who are you?
Well, some people know me as Sarah and some people know me as Diva Delicious, which is my burlesque name. And I guess that's what I've been doing the majority of my performing the past couple of years has been burlesque, opera singing, burlesquer. I don't know which order.
How did you get into burlesque and opera singing?
Well, opera singing, so I've been singing my whole life. When I was younger, I thought I wanted to do Broadway and musical theater. And then in university, I just started training more in an operatic direction and became really into just the technique and the challenge of opera singing. And then the burlesque happened recently. I just went to a show a few years ago with friends. I went to a burlesque show and we saw these three women who were all friends doing burlesque together. And I thought, well, that would be super fun to do with opera. And a month later, like we had our first show in this little space where I lived. And yeah, I just kind of caught the bug. I loved it. I just thought it was so fun.
May I ask what is burlesque?
So burlesque is in the traditional sense, it's like a dance striptease, but kind of vintage. It was kind of what stripteases were in the 1930s, 1940s. So you don't get completely naked, and it's more of like it's really like about the kind of slow removal of clothing. But so that's kind of like a very traditional burlesquer would look kind of like a 1940s pinup, and you don't get completely naked. You have pasties on and you have underwear on, and like very shiny and kind of costumes. But then there's all these spin-offs where it's like burlesque mixed with other types of art forms. And what I do is definitely like a very silly, campy version where it's, I don't know, all my pieces, I'll find an aria, an opera aria, and get an idea for kind of a concept. And I really tell a story through like one song that I sing. And it can be really like weird and funny usually.
Wow, sounds cool.
Yeah.
And where are you from?
I'm from Washington, D.C. originally.
And what brought you to Berlin?
I came to Berlin because Germany just has a lot more opportunities for opera singers. And it was a time in my life where I had a relationship end and, you know, kind of realized I didn't have much tying me to the U.S. at that moment. So it was a good time to come over and see if I wanted to pursue things abroad. And I just kind of fell in love with Berlin and have been here for 5 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And before we started recording, like I was quite surprised that you are from US. And
where did you think I was from?
I had no idea because white people all look the same.
Fair enough.
No, like I really don't have idea, but I was still quite surprised. And I knowing you, we are Facebook friends because we got shortly in touch with the Berlin Mental Health Festival for last year, but I didn't manage to follow through. And through the few months being Facebook friends of you, I saw you update about your health situation, having cancer, and celebrate little wins every day. And I was quite moved, and I thought, okay, I really want to get to know this person. But when you arrived and told me that you are from US, my first reaction is like, wow, holy shit, you are lucky that like because cancer is such a bad thing, but knowing you are from US and having cancer in Germany is like you hit the jackpot.
Yeah, I mean, more than that, I had just gotten into the KSK. So I had really just gotten into the healthcare system here.
Wow.
When I kind of found the tumor initially.
Fuck, you are lucky.
So it was very lucky. And it was amazing to spend almost no money through this process.
And are they paying you salaries too?
I didn't really look into that since I was like freelance and with Corona, I don't know. It was hard to, I'm sure that if I had wanted to pursue it, I could have gotten some money for salary, but I was okay financially. And actually I kept working. I kept performing throughout my treatment and was still kind of earning the same amount of money. So I didn't try to take more money out of the system.
When did you realize? When are you told or diagnosed?
It was kind of so it was, my official diagnosis came in May last summer after I had been in the US and I'd gotten my like vaccinations and everything. And then I came back to find out that I had cancer.
What type of cancer do you have?
So I have breast cancer. And yeah, I mean, I don't know how detailed you want.
Just share as much you feel like. Yeah.
I'm happy to share anything. I decided after kind of the initial shock, I realized like I had to share as much as I could.
Yeah.
Because I think the instinct, and my instinct too, when I got it, was to like want to hide it. And somehow, like, if you hide it, if it's not, then it's not as real. But I was also like, how can I hide cancer? I'm going to lose my hair. Like my everything's going to change. Like I can't like go through the world pretending I don't have this. And so then it was like, well, then I just have to tell everybody and I have to share as much as possible. And also the idea that we feel like we have to hide our health problems is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it was actually like sharing it and making it kind of public. The amount of like support and love and community that I had through the process was so valuable and so beautiful. So I encourage anyone going through any kind of health issues, whether it's mental health or physical health, to share with the people around you because it's really, it allows your community to kind of take care of you.
Yeah. And I believe by hiding, we are feeding the system that stigmatize this type of issues.
Yeah, we're really creating this world where we all feel like we have to present this perfect image all the time and be perfect all the time. And nobody is. And like, we're all kind of crumbling under that stress.
So in the past 1 year, what have you been through?
It was horrible. It was really, so a little bit more about my story is that I have diabetes as well. I got diabetes when I was 2 years old. So I've lived with a chronic illness my entire life. And when I got cancer, my brain was like, no, I've already been sick. Like, I can't get, I was like, no, I've paid my dues. I've like had my sickness. How can this be happening? It was really like, I like looked at my body. I was like, wait, I thought we had an agreement. Like, I thought we'd like figured our stuff out. And
you thought diabetes is your like a sacrifice,
right? I was like, I've reached my suffering. I've like suffered enough, I've paid my due. It's like totally irrational, but that's what it felt like. It was like, no, my body and I, we understand each other now. Like we've overcome our hardships, and everything should be fine forever. But obviously, that's not the way like bodies work.
Your initial reaction when you hear this, like, first reaction, how did you feel? Well,
I was like frozen. I went to my gynecologist who had done the biopsy, and she gives me the news that yes, in fact, because it was crazy because I had this tumor. I'd found it 9 months before. We did a biopsy. They took 3 chunks out of it. It came back totally benign. And she said I didn't have to worry about it. So, and she told me like that this was just a fibroid. They're very common and I don't have to worry about it becoming cancer and it's fine. But she still wanted to like keep an eye on everything. And then it started growing like a lot to the point where I thought that it was actually going to eat through the skin.
wow.
Like it was like a bruise. It was like pushing out against my boob, and it just got huge. And I thought like something's up, something's not right. But I still didn't think that it was cancer because she told me that it couldn't be.
And how long before you went to see the doctor? Like
since I guess I took like a couple months from when I started really noticing that it was growing to see the doctor, because I had an appointment already on the books, so I was like, I'll just go and talk about it at that appointment. And she saw it and she's like, oh, we should rebiopsy it. And my brain was like, it can't be cancer, but my body knew because I felt this just like sense of unease within me. And it's just like, I just had this dread feeling. But when she told me it was actually cancer, I think I was just like totally shocked. Like I had no response for like a minute. And then I just started bawling. I just was like crying I was all alone, I mean, I didn't have any friends or family with me. I was just like, ah. And my first thought was like, no one's ever going to love me. Like that was really, I have this like feeling of just being totally alone because, I'm single and it just feels like, well, now it's an impossibility to find love because I'm like I'm just like damaged goods at this point. That was kind of how it felt. And then
and how long to take you to get back to a normal state?
I don't know that I ever did get back to a normal state. I would say maybe a month. I mean, once I kind of told everyone I knew, like all my close friends and all my family. And then I guess I started, I don't even know. It's hard to even think about. There's so many tests and things. It was like my mom came over right away, which was really helpful. Just having that like family support. And you have to go and you have to get all these scans. So it was like there are tons of doctor's appointments, tons of scans because they want to check and see if like the cancer has spread to your organs or to your bones. And they do an MRI and a CT scan and a bone scan. And then you're meeting with all the cancer doctors and you're planning your treatment and you have to check your heart and check they check everything. And because it's Germany and they love paperwork and bureaucracy, there's always like 5 extra steps to like make the appointment and get the referral from your original doctor. And it was just, so it was like running around doing that. And, with each test, you're just like, okay, I hope that, it hasn't spread. Cause obviously if it's spread, then like there's no cure. If it was in my bones or my organs, you can treat it, but you can't cure it. And it's like a matter of years, to live. So luckily that didn't happen. All my scans came back clear. My lymph nodes were clear. And then I just started like preparing as much as I could for the actual chemo, like what, how to get through it, with how to manage the side effects, how to like organize my life, so that I could, I wasn't sure if I would be able to keep performing or, what I'd be able to do. So it was just things like that. And then, and then, and then I just took it really day by day. So I don't know that it ever felt normal, but it was like, I kind of didn't think, it was just like, get through. It was just a survival mode, really, of like, survive this.
And what kept you to fight it? Did you have any like a piece of moment thinking, what's the point?
No, I never. I guess like at first, when you first got the diagnosis, but didn't know like all the details of the cancer, and really I just had no information about what cancer was, like I was totally uninformed about all of it. At first I was like, well, maybe it won't be so bad. Like maybe it's not like a bad cancer. And maybe I can just get was kind of like wishful thinking of like, maybe I can just do like a little bit of treatment, but I thought about, could I just cut my boobs off and then not have to do the chemo? But no, it turns out when you have cancer, and I actually had quite an aggressive cancer, like it was very fast growing. The theory is that cancer cells just leak out to your entire body. So even if it doesn't appear to have spread anywhere, you have like free floating cells everywhere. So you have to do the chemo, which is why you can't just get like a mastectomy and call it a day. Like you have to you have to basically try to kill all the cells in all the fast growing cells in your body to hope that you get it all and then you won't have a recurrence. I don't remember. Oh, did I ever think about giving up? No, I definitely want to live. And with every stage, there's just this feeling, because it changed me. Like it's changed my body forever. Like I think it feels like it stole like 10 years of my life, kind of like put me into an older age. And it's kind of heartbreaking when you start thinking about all the ways in which like this cancer has like changed you, and the side effects and the new things I'll have to live with forever on top of what I was already living with the diabetes. But yeah, I mean, you only get one life.
When like after the initial shock, was there a moment you realize, oh, it's bad, but it's still manageable?
Yeah, it kind of came slowly. I think from the beginning, I was thinking pretty optimistically. I was like, it can't be that bad of a cancer. Like it can't be that bad. And then it was like every piece of information I got, actually, like it was worse than I thought. It was like, that's bad. Oh shit. And it was like each new thing would like send me into kind of an anxiety spiral, and then I would have to like oh no, this is gonna kill me. This is horrible. I'm gonna die. And then I'd have to like climb my way out and just be like, okay, I'm doing what I can do. So it was a lot of like kind of my brain slowly wrapping its head around just how scary and how severe this cancer was. I really wanted to believe that it was a very like mild cancer. But I finally accepted now, like, no, it was a pretty aggressive, like scary cancer. I didn't have the worst case scenario because it hadn't spread, but all the other factors were pretty bad. And yeah, I guess what I realized through it is that people are just resilient. Like we naturally want to survive things, and most people will just kind of make the best out of what they're given. And this is just like another example of that.
Are you surprised by yourself?
Yeah, I am surprised. Actually, I'm surprised, but then when I think about like what I've been through in my life and how I handled the diabetes, it actually makes a lot of sense because I had to live my whole life managing a disease. And honestly, having cancer, it was much more acute, like the side effects and the way I felt, but it's a very similar thing. It's a very, I guess in some ways, my coping mechanisms kind of just helped me through the process. Because I would just have days where I'm like, okay, I feel horrible. And I would just feel horrible and I would relax. And then I'd have a performance coming up and I'd be like, okay, one foot in front of the other, do the performance, go home and rest, rest for a week, go to a performance, rest for a week. And that was kind of my life.
How was your mental health along this last year journey?
It was up and down. I started doing like Reiki and I went to an energy healer person. And that really helped just to like kind of feel like I was doing something on a more spiritual level. But obviously I had some like really dark times. Like there was a month where I got a cold on top of the chemo and I felt so miserable. And I would just like sit at home alone listening to audiobooks or watching Netflix. And yeah.
And how did you get out of that? Like, what's your like routine when this happens?
Really nothing. I didn't really try to get out of anything. I just kind of allowed myself the space to feel horrible. And I think the performing too, like having that in my life really lifted my spirits because it was a way to feel like normal. Like I wasn't sick, it's not like there was something about just being sick that was really depressing to me. So this was like something I could do in which I didn't present as sick because I had all my makeup and my hair on and everything. And it was just part of like more of my normal life. And it's just, like a very fulfilling thing for me to be able to perform. So that helped. But yeah, I think, I've been through a lot of dark periods in my life. So it wasn't also a new thing to experience depression or something. And I think in those moments, I try not to fight it. And I also try to tell myself that like, it won't last forever.
That's very true. I think as a survivor, I think the fundamental difference I have with before is that before I didn't know it's temporary, and now I know. Yeah. And once I know that, it's easier to keep going.
Yeah, I think that's the key is like whatever you're feeling in any moment, even if it's really, really oppressive or really upsetting, it will pass because everything passes. No feeling is permanent.
I want to ask you, it might be a cliche, but we always hear, someone got cancer and they suddenly realize what's important for them. Did you have a moment like that?
Yeah, it wasn't really a moment, but it definitely like just changed the way I think about things in a really good way. Like, yeah, you just kind of realize what is valuable in life and what is not. And so many of the like, day-to-day anxieties and drama just don't feel very important. And the things that are like loved ones, just that became so clear. Is that friends and family and people that love you and you love are it's like the most important thing. And then like the things that make me happy, like performing and stuff. But yeah, I really value like that human interaction, that connection.
And I saw you post very often about your updates. Besides that, have you participate in some type of project to share your experience and journey?
No, I just posted those videos to kind of, it was an easy way to keep everyone informed, and it was a way for me to feel like I was sharing my experience. But I haven't put it into any of my artwork yet. Like I think I will, but I also almost think I need some time.
Yeah, it takes some time to how do you say, let it sit down. Like, and then when you look at it back, it's more clear.
Yeah, like I'm still in active treatment. I still have my radiation to do, so I haven't even like finished the whole journey yet, even though I'm feeling better. And I am interested to see, like, in a year or, you know, once I'm through this and I process and my life goes in whatever direction it will go in, like how it kind of filters into my artwork and my performing.
Yeah. I don't have cancer yet.
Hopefully, knock on wood, you never will.
Yeah, but in my imagination, like I feel if one day I'm told I have cancer, I would be okay. My life is over. Did you have this kind of feeling the first moment you realized it?
Yeah, I think that's where that feeling, I think for me, it was this feeling of like, no one will ever love me is the same. It's like that. It's like, I'm going to be alone, which to me is like, my life is over because like, I don't want to be alone. I think that was that response. But
now, do you still believe like no one will love you?
I don't know, actually. I mean, the no one loving me thing is a fear I've had my whole life. But then it's like through the cancer process, I realized so many people love me. It might not be a romantic love, but like it is a pure, beautiful love. And I guess something that happened in the process is that I don't feel that I need that anymore. Like I would still love to have a partner, but I don't need it. I'm actually like fine on my own and and I have beautiful relationships in my life. And so, yeah, I'm not so worried as much as to whether it'll happen now.
Wow, that's beautiful and powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. It only took that whole like cliche of like, you have to love yourself first. And I think this process really helped me kind of fortify myself in a way.
Do you think like you'll ever be able to look at it like cancer as something positive happening in your life?
I think like the shift in my perspective was very positive. And actually like just the way that I perform now and like my ability to be on stage has really shifted in a great way. Like especially performing through cancer, through like the chemo, it was like, well, I just let go of a lot of my like anxieties about being perfect and, you know, being loved. It's like, I don't care about any of that. I just like want to like share my, share my art and like emote on stage. And it really doesn't matter if I'm perfect or, you know, whatever. So I'm like that. I'm very grateful to that. Like, I feel like a different person in a way. I guess like it does give you like a strength of character.
And I feel like as artists, we are really, really lucky that we have this channel. We can release our energy, and even such unfortunate event happens, we can turn it into another type of energy.
Yeah. Yeah, the performing was the like most crucial thing while I was going through everything. I mean, there were days where I was like a zombie and felt nauseous, like could barely get up, but I did not cancel a single performance.
Wow.
through the whole thing.
How did you manage like going through like treatment, doing all the extra paperwork and work full timely? How did you manage?
I was not working full time. Like most of the time I was resting. I mean, it did kind of feel like being sick was my full-time job, just like getting to the appointments and getting so I had a lot of downtime, and then when it came time to perform, it was just like it was really just one foot in front of the other. It was even no matter how bad I felt, I was like, just do it, just like go and do it, don't think about it, just do it. And I mean, sometimes I wasn't great. It's not like every time I performed it was magical.
Yeah, I love the word like stage is really where the magic happens. Like it has so much power and it gives so much energy.
Yeah, and it just helps.
Being on stage, I think, is the most empowering thing I ever experienced.
Yeah, it really helped me feel like I had something beyond the cancer.
I think it would be a really cool project once the dust have settled down, like to use your craft to tell a story, like mix like a music, opera, like dance and storytelling, theater, monologue kind of thing.
Yeah, I actually this week I was like, I need to create a one woman show kind of about this. So that thought like really just a few days ago kind of like popped into my head.
You know what? What's the best way to write a one woman show?
What's the best way?
Is to book a venue and fix a date.
Yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true.
And I can help with that.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And it's I've been wanting to write my one woman show for 2 years. And then one day I just talked with a venue. I said, "Can you give me a date?" And then I just didn't work on it. I one afternoon I wrote something and I said, "Oh, this is amazing," and I never touched it. And 2 weeks before stage time, I realized I had nothing.
Oh my god!
And half an hour before stage time, I'm like, "There's no way I can do this fucking shit." And the first 3 performance, every time I want to cancel. Like every time I'm like, I want to cancel, but my colleague said, "But it's sold out." I'm like, "Yeah, but COVID. Maybe I can just cancel because of COVID. Can I just cancel this thing?" But I think I burst into tears when you were talking, because it feels so relevant, like so personal for me when you say you fear you'll never be loved.
Yeah.
And that is a constant feeling I had growing up, and it's now writing my solo show to relieve the trauma. I realized, it's a consistent theme, like a signal, like I got from the environment around me, and eventually it become part of me, like this nagging voice, like telling me and making me believe that I don't deserve to be loved and no one will love me. And for such long time, it feels so true and it feels so real. But once I lived through it, I realized, that's totally not true.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy how these things like seep into our consciousness at such a young age, and then it manifests in adulthood, like this nagging feeling of like, I'm not good enough, I'm something's wrong with me, something's fundamentally and it's hard to shake that. I mean, I go through day to day. I'm just like so hard on myself. So much of my like inner monologue is like, oh, this isn't good. Like, this needs to be better. That's not good enough. That's not good. It's like always like criticisms of myself. And who is that helping?
How did you realize that, this is a criticism, this is a voice in me, it's not me? When were you able to distinguish this voice and yourself?
Well, I've done a lot of therapy, like years and years and years. And I think it was in that process that I started realizing, at least having an awareness of this kind of negative voice that and my therapist did a lot of work to kind of point it out and help me like accept myself for who I was and where I was in life. But that doesn't mean that voice goes away. Like, I don't think that voice will ever go away. It's just like, how much power does it have? And
exactly,
when you hear it, are you able to say, wait, I don't believe that? Are you able to change them? Am I able to change my monologue, change my script? So that's what I'm working on now, especially because I don't know, a part of me feels like these things, like these illnesses that manifest that come from your body and manifest inside, like, I don't know, maybe it's totally random, but a piece of me thinks like maybe it's, maybe this like negative self-talk, maybe these belief structures, kind of manifest some of these things or deteriorate me in some way.
You talk about the energy therapy, like have to see it in a spiritual way. Would you call yourself spiritual now?
I guess, yeah. I'm one of these people that like doesn't really believe in anything, but also believes in everything. So I won't pretend that like I have any kind of answers or that there's any like truth that I can tap into, but I do think that like, our energy is like, I do like to think there are things going on that like we can't see and feel. And it feels nice to do these like energy work, and the Reiki feels amazing. So yeah, that I guess it's
Now, do you actually believe there's a higher power?
I don't know if it's a higher power in like the sense of God,
Or it's like energy?
Yeah, I guess if there's a philosophy that I would believe in or that I'm drawn to, it's more like a Buddhist kind of yogic philosophy of the idea that like we are God. Like everything around us we're all connected. We're all made of the same things. So we actually we encompass like the whole universe in our body. I think that's a beautiful idea. And it connects us to our environment and to people and to the things around us. So, yeah, I guess I do believe in that.
Growing up in China, like being religious is not really like allowed. And I thought I'm the last person who would believe in this kind of non-scientific stuff. But last year, actually around this time, like I clearly felt like a God was in me. And since then, like once I believe in it, like I don't believe like God, like Jesus God, but like the universe.
Yeah.
And once I believe in this, I feel life just became much easier because I don't get upset by small things, and I don't care about being fair if this is fair between me and the other person, because I realize it's all about me and God. And if I'm doing the things I believe I'm doing, and maybe this person is not treating me back fairly, but the universe knows, and I will be treated the way I treated the universe.
Yeah, Yeah, it does help kind of when you start thinking almost karmically of
Yeah.
like what energy. I do feel like the energy that people put out, they tend to get back.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of unfair things happen and there's really awful people doing awful things and it doesn't seem like they get any kind of punishment, but they also don't seem very happy. They don't seem like happy people.
Yeah.
And I do think it helps kind of appreciate like we are part of our environment.
Yeah.
And so do we want to make that a loving place or like a resentful place or an angry place or a jealous place? And yeah.
And when I feared God that time,
Yeah.
I think God was through me. Like I realized like no matter what happens to me, doesn't matter, because God, like the universe, gave me this creative energy,
Yeah.
and whatever the world throw up at me, I have the power to rewrite my narrative and my version of the story. And even horrible things happen, if I have this power, I can make it funny. And then I realize, oh, actually my happiness doesn't depend on what happens to me, but it fully in my control how I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something also I realized having the cancer is like my mood and happiness was completely independent of like these kind of things going on around me. It's really something like some days I would be really depressed and some days I would be totally happy and fine and joyous. And it's really I mean, it's all so cliche, but it really comes from within and how you see things. And it's not so much about these external factors.
This is really, really beautiful and inspiring. And I strongly believe like one day you'll be able to tell the story and make beautiful art with it.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very looking forward to it.
Thanks. Where did you do your one-woman show?
I'm doing it all over the Berlin, like with different venues. Yeah, it's really cool. If you are interested, like I can help you to schedule a date and.
I will. Let me get to the end of my treatment and like process a little bit, and then I'll put a date on. I agree with you that I think it's something that I should do, and like I can feel it calling to me, but it needs to percolate a little bit. Yeah,
needs time, needs space.
Yeah,
needs a little bit of distance.
Yeah.
Cool. Then I strongly believe we are going to collaborate one way or another.
I would love that. And I have more. The mental health stuff too is something I've been steeped in my whole life. So I think it's great that you're also bringing that into your art and podcasts and just bringing visibility to it.
Cool. Like I really, really love this podcast, that it gives me so much opportunity to talk with different people. Like without this podcast, I wouldn't get to know you.
Yeah.
And now I'm just so inspired, and I'm really, really happy for you. Like you seem to be in a very good mental space. And
people always say that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that's true. But thank you.
Yeah. So really, really great. Let's keep in touch and make art one day.
Definitely.
Yeah. So cool. I need to close this episode. Yeah, cool. For this episode, I want to shout out to my Patreon subscriber Pia. Like Pia have come to see my first solo show, and then he came to see the same show again, and he wrote me nice words, and he become my patron.
Yay.
And thank you so much for all the encouragement, and letting me more believe in myself a little bit more, and because audience like you make me feel, oh, actually it's not about how many audience I have per week. It's about at least I'm touching someone, and I'm changing someone's perspective, and I'm making impact even to one person, and it's totally worth it, and I'm so happy I'm doing this. Besides that, I'm performing Berlin. No, I'm performing my solo show, Child from Wuhan, all over Berlin, almost like every week, different venues. Check it out at www.monizhang.com. And exciting news to share from today. I just got admitted to Edinburgh Fringe. Yeah, to perform my solo show at the legendary venue, the Three Sisters, at a very good time. I'm really, really, really happy, and I feel so blessed. And if you haven't seen my solo show, please check my website, get your tickets. And thank you, Sarah, for being here, share your story with us today.
Thank you for having me. And since we're plugging things, you can follow me at Pinup Soprano on Instagram if you're interested in seeing me perform or just seeing what I'm up to.
Yeah, I will write your contact in the description also. Cool. That's today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you stay safe, stay alive, and stay happy. You can cry sometimes, but mostly happy. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.